This segment is entitled Strength and Unity, Resilient Ukrainian Business. And who we have moderating is the Honorable Roman Vashuk, Business Ombudsman in Ukraine. And on this panel, we have, is it Tara Kutsmey or Taras Kutsmey?
Taras Kutsmey.
Thank you. Taras Kutsmey, co-founder and board member of SoftServe. Rostislav Vovk, CEO Kormotech. Andriy Zdesenko, founder and CEO Biosphere Corporation. And Duncan Nightingale, chairman of Independent Supervisory Board of Ukrnafta. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was thinking maybe we would sort of, panelists, we would all go out and be like a Ukrainian mobilization squad and kind of grab people and drag them in here. But no, we will approach this in a relaxed manner, but that's the only thing people on the panel here are relaxed about. The reason I am a moderator is because these are four guys, and yes, they're all guys, but you see Lena, it's not all guys in Ukraine, although one has had his name changed. So it's okay, we'll sort out identities later. These are people who are all immoderate in their approach to business. These are ferocious entrepreneurs, ferocious in the positive sense of the word. People who will, and I think will tell you stories that will appear counterintuitive to the placid Canadian business mind. So let me maybe start off with Taras Kutsmey and ask him, how has SoftServe managed to maintain its global IT services amidst the challenges facing Ukraine? Partly, I know it's because you've got an international network, which includes an office which is what, 12 minutes?
From here
In downtown Toronto. What strategies have proven most effective in ensuring operational continuity, innovation, and how has Canada, how has that office 12 minutes away from here played into your geographical diversification?
Thank you very much for the question. Good day, good evening, good night for Ukrainian people. You know, when that was started, we changed our priorities in our company. And our priority number one was people safety. We started with a massive relocation from eastern Ukraine to western Ukraine and outside Ukraine. We relocated about 5,000 families. The second priority was to support people from SoftServe who join Ukrainian forces. And they constantly on our payroll, we're supporting them, we're supporting their families. And the next priority was to support Ukrainian society, Ukrainian army. We a lot of humanitarian help, army help. The next, how we manage all of this, first of all, in Ukraine, we created true virtual enterprise. All our IT infrastructure outside Ukraine in global clouds. In Ukraine, all processes starting from hiring people, paying compensation, software development, done virtually. We can provide excellence of our services with people who just connected to internet. Next is what we did. First of all, 24 hours per 7 days, it's our offices. All offices equipped with digital generator, couple internet lines, heating system, etc. And finally, is like if we see many risks, what our response should be, it's to diversify. We diversified our development centers. We are a company that was born in Ukraine, but now we have development centers in Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, Chile, Colombia, Mexico. And we providing our services from all of these locations. Many people telling that we are moving software development from Ukraine to these countries. In reality, it's not true. When we giving to our client diversified solution, we are fast they can involve into new solutions people from Ukraine, because we present in diversified solution. If to take a look on the quality of our services, we see that we measure in quality our services by a net promotion score. It's some sort of levels, client satisfaction level, and usually net promotion score delivered to us by independent companies. And our net promotion score is quarter over quarter, it's 80% plus, and average on the market is 50%. So despite the war, we providing quality of our services significantly higher than average on the market. Currently, yes, we experience it's difficult for us to bring new project to Ukraine, especially with new clients. But as we understand, this is temporary. When we have some sort of risk perception, when the risk perception will go away, client return to Ukraine, and we will be growing like as before, 40-50% per year. It's only, right.
As I say, immoderate. Just for context, you're not a small company. So what's the total number of people you've got working?
The total number of people working so SER currently is 10,000 plus people. Yeah. We providing our services. A company was born 30 years ago. We providing our services to United States, to Canada, to UK, to DACH, to Middle East, to Asia Pacific. So this is true global company. We working in Canada since 1997. I remember my Christmas day in 1997 in Toronto, Canada. Since that time, we constantly in Canada. We are proud to be in Canada. We wish to extend our cooperation with Canada. We have many SOSER people here because we have office 10 minutes walk from here.
Okay, thanks, Taras. And actually, again, if you're sort of sitting around thinking, how can I help Ukraine? It seems so far away. What can I do? Buy services and goods from Ukrainian producers and companies. Now, if you were a poodle or a kitty cat, and you had that thought, I must buy my services and goods from a Ukrainian company, you would be going to Kormotek, owned and run by Rostislav Vok, our second panelist. It is, if I'm not mistaken, $152 million a year in turnover company.
Yeah, last year.
And you export to?
44 countries.
And
we are not in Canada yet.
And you manufacture in 2 countries.
Yes, Ukraine and Lithuania.
Okay. So how have you adapted to disruptions in supply chains, market access during the war, and how is your focus on building your own brands in Ukraine and in the EU translated into market share?
Yeah. Unfortunately, cats and dogs cannot eat digitally, so we are not so lucky as Taras. But yet, thanks God, yet. I don't know what will happen in 5 or 10 years.
Future is coming.
Yeah. No, you don't. They don't need it. They have a lot of clients still. Yeah. So yeah, we did a lot of changes when the war started. But starting back, we are always speaking. We are always speaking in our company that we went across 4 crises because our company is 21-year-old. So we've been through 2008, we've been to 2014, then we've been through COVID, and we did a startup of our company, of our new factory in Lithuania during COVID. So we did it by Zoom. It was a quite experience. Yeah, and now we are in the 4th, the biggest crisis, let me say like this. So we are quite ready to change very fast. But definitely this time it was, I would say, much more hard, much more harder. So first of all, definitely we also started with our people. What should we do? How can we help them? How can we transit them to Ukraine? Or maybe they want to go to Europe. And in the end, we finished with only 2 people from 1,400 who are working with our company. Only 2 people are in Europe now. They left our company, unfortunately. Everybody else stayed with us. Also, we have around 70 people who are now in the army on the battlefield. So we are helping also them. But when the war started, we just understood that we need to make very fast decisions. And we did just 3 groups or 3 teams in our company. So there was no CEO, there was no strategic group. At the time, we decided that it will be three teams which need to work very, very fast. I'm not going to speak about 2 of them, but one of them, the third one, was that we need to grow very fast on the European market or some other markets. And we started to grow there. Now more than 30% of our turnover are coming from the European countries, and not only European countries. And we were working like this for 2 years, and now we decided to focus. We started our new strategic period for next 5 years till 2028. The goal is to make a company with €500 million turnover. And we need to grow very aggressively in Europe, because last year the turnover, the ratio of the sales was 70% in Ukraine and 30 abroad, and we need to make it vice versa in 5 years. 70% from of export sales, and Ukraine will gonna give us up to 30%. It's not that we are forgetting the market, it's just that we have already more than 35% of Ukrainian market, so it's not possible to grow very fast. We need to stabilize and be number 1, but Europe will be growing. And now about the disruptions and everything else, logistic problems. Yes, we opened the warehouse in Poland, so now we have minimum 2 months of our sales, of the stocks of our sales in Poland, because we need to serve our clients. Our clients are number 1 for us. By the way, we have 2 clients. One is a man who is buying on the who is taking the product from shelf. Another one is a customer who is eating the product. So we need to serve 2 of them. So we are serving, and of course B2B clients like supermarket chains. You need to serve them in 24 hours. That's why we need the product. That's why we need the product in Europe. And also this decision that we opened the factory in 2020 in Lithuania, it was a very good opportunity. It helps us when war started to negotiate with our clients. So they will not going to have the problems with the wet pet food and dry pet food. We signed the contracts with our friends, competitors, who are ready to produce our products under our brands on their facilities in Europe. So I would say we are covered with the risks.
There you go, solidarity among producers. So I think our Francophone colleagues here would describe the scenario for the next company we're talking about, and the next entrepreneur we're talking about, as une fuite en avant, escaping forward when you find yourself in a problem. So Andriy Zdesenko is the founder and president of Biosphere Corporation. It has a range of brands in Ukraine, but it also has bought up and revived a kind of moribund European brand. But before I allow him to say anything, I'd like to do something immoderate. And that is to point out a case of what actually is Ukrainian-Canadian co-branding in the multi-purpose cloth segment, one made by Mr. Zdesenko's company
it's
under
very expensive advertising.
Slightly, uniquely Ukrainian, or at least not so translatable, Freckenbock brand. But the guy depicted here is Hector Jimenez Bravo.
Yes.
Who is a
celebrity chef.
Yes, Colombian-Canadian chef who is Ukraine's leading celebrity chef. He is endorsing this. He is saying, "Відкрий у собі шефа," the chef within. And so that you guys can all figure it out, I will try to aim for Zenon. Just a second. Whoa. Pass it along. Andriy Zasenko.
I'm happy that it's not the flour, but
Zenon, please make sure that it will be on your kitchen, because when he's coming to visit me at my house, he's always checking what's happening in the kitchen and do I have his products. Once I didn't have his products, and he ran away from my house.
yeah, but the same from you. The same from you.
Yeah, correct.
Yes. It's the very, very good project. Thank you for your question. Thank you for inviting me. It's strange, but I'm the first time in Canada, first time in Toronto. And especially, Yuri, thank you for the invitation. It's the chance to visit your fantastic country, because I dreamt about that many years. And finally, I'm not only country visiting the country, I'm staying the stage. It's proud of that. Biosfera now is the company with the 6 factories in Ukraine, several cities, 2 abroad, 1 in Tallinn, 1 in Romania. 2,000 people, 150 people now in the front line, and unfortunately 9 of them is died in this bloody war, and 8 of our veterans is working back to Ukraine and working our factories. The main factories, main cluster of production located just 100 kilometers to the front line now. Unfortunately, front line is going to our city, closer to our area. And every day, like other producers and other people, were listening the noise of anti-missile, sirena, and sometimes the 30% of our time, the workers which working 24/7 for our factories is living in bomb shelters together with the civil people, because is the new reality, new paradigm. And despite of that, we do max, because every day million people buy our product in 25 countries, and we are selling our product to Baltic states, Balkans, Kazakhstan, Georgia, Uzbekistan. And it's the huge FMCG machine which working 24/7, and we have a big responsibility. What happened when the war starts? You know that millions, our people, our consumer, our audience, unfortunately leave the country. Our turnover decreased 30%, even for the baby diapers, 40%. And it was, the question, or squeeze the company and decrease the capacity, or we can find the solution. And hopefully, I listened that historical heritage brand Alufix under the bankruptcy, and this was the leading brand in these countries, Austria and the ex-Austria Empire. And immediately I met with the ex-CEO of this company, and we closed the deal. In 3-4 months, with the very small team, because not so many people can leave the country, only with the special permission. And we bought this brand in their factory in Romania. But the whole range of the product in Romania, we can produce only 30% of the range. But 70% we start to produce in Ukraine and bring back this brand to the market. We invest to redesign of this brand with the 60 years old, and we won Red Dot several months ago. We won this prize in Berlin, like one of the best European design in the FMCG sector, with the famous Austrian studio. But several people was responsible for this project, because we have not a lot of people, we have not European big office. It was just enthusiasm, 24 hours, working hard, and we did that. And due to this deal, now our capacity is under 100%. Of course, European buyers ask us that they are frustrated sometimes that all facilities located in Ukraine for such products, but we have several factories. We divide between Eastern Ukraine and Western Ukraine products. That's why we diversify our risks. This is the approach. Like we play with the chessboard, but not only Ukraine. We did this for the extend our chessboard and play with this approach. Now we have office in Warsaw, Bucharest, Vienna. We have international advisory board, and we build Biosphera 2.0 because Ukrainians do maximum and 24/7. They think about safety, they think about their relatives. They really not able to see how to globalize their business because the priority. And my priority, what we do bridge between Ukraine and the world, because world is very fast, very competitive. Nobody wait in Biosphera that when the war finished, we wait. No, they're very competitive. That's why our target to build Biosphera 2.0 with international talents, ambitious with our spirit, Biosphera spirit, our Biosphera values, and globalize our business, of course, Canada. And I believe that next year we will be here and they open and put the flag like a Biosphera product in a fantastic country.
All right. Thank you. Now, we've had 3 Ukrainian companies that have found different ways of either staying global or going global. Now we have Duncan Nightingale, a Calgarian, who is going into Ukraine as the chairman of the supervisory board of Ukernafta, the big state-owned oil company. So, in a way, Duncan, your journey is going slightly in another direction, but you're bringing your global oil and gas industry experience to hardworking Ukrainians. So if we look at the energy sector as being key to resilience, economic resilience, how are you using your experience from Canada and elsewhere to help design the strategies that keep Ukraine powered up?
Thank you, Roman. Very, very good question. But as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the organisers have saved the entertainment for later in the afternoon, but I'll do my best to keep up with everybody. There is a bit of a personal story here, and I know we don't have much time, but why am I doing this, I guess, is what Roman is asking. It's not just my experience and having spent the last 42 years running international oil and gas operations, but it is a genuine desire to want to help the Ukrainian people. I have a son who's in the US military, actually, and we've had numerous discussions after the full-scale war broke out, and he saw me very animated one evening, and he said, "You know, Dad, you're almost at the point where you're going to get on a plane and go over there and help out." And, well, grey hairs speak for themselves. I am at the age and stage of life where jumping in and out of trenches is probably not a good idea. So I thought, well, how else can I help? And I was going through that period and struggling with how can I help. And not long after, I was contacted by a headhunter who asked me whether I'd be interested in joining the Independent Supervisory Board. So I guess things are meant to happen. But even before that, my family back in Calgary were helping Ukrainians get adjusted, kids into school, finding accommodation and donations and etc. So I am really pleased and honoured, and I genuinely mean that, to be here today, to be able to talk on behalf of Ukernafta and help out Ukraine in any way I possibly can. As we know, Ukraine is striving for energy dependence under wartime conditions. And this is, as we've heard today, very, very challenging for many of the companies operating in Ukraine or on investors' minds who are contemplating going into Ukraine at this period of time. But let me just give you a little bit of a history and what's been achieved here. In under 24 months, Ukranafta was, Ukranafta was sort of, if you want, taken into state care back in late 2022. So in under 24 months, it went from a almost profit loss organization to generating 700 million of net income in 2023 and about 1.5 billion year to date. So it...
Great result, amazing.
So Ukranafta is truly really a story of what you can do with the right, when you have the right assets underpinning the right senior management team. And what we've been able to do is put a senior management team in place that has the right skill sets, the right commitment, obviously backed by the supervisory board that is now taking this company forward in a very successful manner. It's generated record taxes and yields back to the shareholders in 2023, 2024. So it's really helping the economy of Ukraine. Ukranafta is ensuring national energy security as well in the motor fuels area, because Ukranafta is really, truly an integrated oil and gas company. We don't just explore, develop, and produce, but we also refine, transport, and sell. We've gone from a very small percentage in the motor fuels market to about 10% on retail and 20% of overall fuel in Ukraine. And that includes supplying over 90% of the gasoline and diesel needs to the Ukrainian military. So one of the major points here and success stories is actually the reactivation of the Kremenchuk refinery, which despite all the missile and drone attacks, we've been able to reactivate, and we're putting through about 50,000 barrels a day, which is providing all that gasoline and diesel and lubricants, as well as some petrochemicals. But as we all know, the aggressor has damaged the energy system in Ukraine significantly. We've lost 8-9 gigawatts of power generation capacity. There is another 18 to 20, which is currently resides in occupied territories. So there's been a significant downdraft with respect to the amount of energy that Ukraine can generate. That has a knock-on effect to all sorts of industries, especially oil and gas, where we rely on that energy to fuel or run our pumps, compressors, etc. So Ukranafta at this point in time, with donor help, is installing about 200 megawatts in various locations with the donor help. And I was in New York recently meeting with President Zelensky at the UN, and we working with USAID and other organizations, where we did a rather significant deal with Caterpillar, and those gas piston power generation units are now on their way to Ukraine. And that has a big effect, not only with respect to industry, but also with the local communities, schools, etc., in the area, which have been severely affected by the ongoing aggression. So it's really, a very important role, I think, at the moment that Ukranafta is playing. And again, I feel very, very proud to be part of it. But not to neglect the ESG part of the equation. We do have a significant focus on using the traditional fuels, such as oil and gas, as a transition methodology to get into the greener fuels. So we are working on solar, we are working on wind, and looking at hydrogen, and I hope one day we can move into the SMRs when we have the security and safety available. So coming back to the question, finally, of strategies and how do we achieve that, we are working with the American Petroleum Institute to implement the appropriate standards for adoption, which is also backed by contributions and funding from USAID. We're also, as I said, installing these gas-to-power generation units, which is not only providing the power, but we're not flaring the gas. And if we are using the gas for power generation, that means we are taking the load off the national grid, which, as you know, these days still uses a significant amount of coal for power generation. So we're moving ahead with energy generation at the same time as being mindful of the greener energies. So we have a strong leadership, as I mentioned, in the company. We're upgrading the old Soviet equipment, very inefficient equipment that was left behind, and we are putting enhanced protection at the refinery and crucial operational hubs and sites. So there's a lot of activity going on, 24/7. We have about 600 employees of Ukronafta who are currently serving at the front. And I say, perhaps I should had 600. I think it's still close to 600. But unfortunately, we have lost some very valuable lives in that process. So the company is working with the families and support institutions to provide support to our war heroes. So I very much appreciate that, and I'm doing all I possibly can to make sure they receive all the help that's possible.
We had a range of representatives of international financial institutions that have been advising Ukraine on corporate reform of the state enterprise sector, and people sometimes ask, does it make any difference? And I think Duncan Nightingale's presentation shows that it can make a huge difference if you get the right board and the right management in place. Coming back to Taras Kitsmei, and I see that the random name generator mechanism has actually got his name right
Yes.
now. Do you confirm that?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. The role of IT in reconstruction. So I think, like Wayne Gretzky, who's already been mentioned today, said of hockey, the IT sector is usually looking to where the puck will be in the future instead of sort of fighting for it where it is now. How is the Ukrainian IT sector finding the mind share to look ahead and figuring out how it can help rebuild Ukraine's economy and reposition it?
How we envision our future, and we are building a global technology hub for developing IT solutions. Why we dreaming about this? First of all, currently we have about 4,000 IT companies providing their services across the globe. If you take a look on compound average growth during 3 war years, it was about 20% per year. It's an excellent number. If you take into consideration the first year of war, IT grew up 6%, the first year of war. So IT industry has great potential. First of all, great potential due to the talented people. Actually, in Ukraine today, we have 3rd generation of IT professionals. The first generation was people who designed and assembled the first computer in continental Europe in Kyiv. And Kyiv was like the IT center of former Soviet Union. And these people, like generation over generation, they're dreaming to be hero just in technology. This is what motivating them. And if you take a look, the whole industry targeted just to be the first in adopting new technologies. For example, SoftServe. Currently in SoftServe we have CTO office and that focusing on adoption new technologies. Usually new technologies creating new needs, new demands. If you're working with new technologies, you're providing unique solutions. And there is some adoption technology curve. We have R&D phase, we have early adoption phase, late adoption, and legacy. The blue ocean is early adoption phase. To be in this phase, you need to be in R&D. And for example, SoftServe and many companies heavily investing in R&D. And this is creating competitive advantages. First of all, we need to be competitive. Secondly, like what we need to do today to build this future, we need to invest in education. And IT today investing a lot in education. For example, I chairman of the board of supervisory board for 2 universities, Lviv State University of Ivan Franko and Lviv Polytechnic University, and taking many other initiatives. So they're building many dual educational programs with many universities. Before war, SOFSER each year needed to hire 3,000 graduates. 3,000 is a lot, and we built this machine already. You know, if you're building this machine, you are accepting people to universities, and you are getting result in 4 years, and still this machine is working. During the war, everybody talking about some sort of talent shortage, but nobody talking about talent shortage in IT in Ukraine. Why? Because this machine is working, producing talent. We have less demand, and we continue to produce these talents. And the second reason, you know, we built in Ukraine some sort of great community. We have Lviv IT cluster, Kharkiv IT cluster, Dnipro Association, IT Ukraine Association. We have developed very good partnership with government, with Ministry of Digitalization, and we developed, it seems to me, the best legislation, DSET, for operating IT business. We work in many countries, and it looks like for us that is the best. What we need just secure environment for client to return back to Ukraine. When the war ends, we will see that IT industry will continue previous trend at 20% plus compound growth rate per year.
Thank you. Just to mix it up a bit, coming over here to Duncan. Rather unusually, Ukrnafta has just bought a controlling interest in Shell Ukraine, a network of 118 gas stations. Should we be looking at this as asserting Ukrainian ownership, or is it an opportunity for some other format of international partnership?
No, I can understand the basis for that question for sure, especially state-owned enterprises. But anyway, before I comment on the Shell station acquisition, it's important to note that Ukrnafta has successfully implemented best business and governance practices in compliance with OECD policies, as well as the supervisory board. So we have members on the board from Norway, the UK, Canada, of course, myself, and two Ukrainian ladies. So we're fully diversified. We have a very good independent board. And the reason I wanted to mention that is because this fed into the Shell acquisition and demonstrating ourselves regarding the financing of that acquisition, that there is moves to put the right governance and best business practices in place, which is very important for new investors coming in, especially private investors, answerable to shareholders, that need to demonstrate the integrity and compliance with the OECD. But anyway, back to the question. Yeah, it's really strange, I guess, for some folks to think about an SOE moving into acquisitions. But really, Ukrnafta, although it's 100% state-owned, with two major shareholders, which are both state, it's good to see that the state is moving back into business development and really have a profit-focused path. And I think many SOEs around the world have lost track that they're there to do business. They're using taxpayers' money, and they need to provide a return. Just because they're a state-owned enterprise doesn't mean to say they don't have to enter into projects that don't demonstrate the right economics and the right level of return. So that's the first thing I would make the point. So Ukrnafta is definitely back on the trajectory of growth, engaging in profitable businesses. And one of those profitable businesses is the retail business for gas sales and gas stations. So we bought the Shell gas stations because we saw an excellent opportunity to integrate them into our own existing Ukrnafta mono-brand network of gas stations. And it's a perfect match with our long-term growth plan and strategic goals. So at the end of the acquisition, which is close to closing, we'll have about 700 gas stations in Ukraine under the Ukranaft brand. So as far as the financing is concerned, we are attracting international donor and private funding from many national and international institutions, especially for projects that provide a sound economic return. And I think, you know, from Ukranafta's standpoint, we regard ourselves as one of the most richest companies in terms of investment opportunities, both in upstream, midstream, and the downstream. And I would certainly like to encourage Canadian companies to take another look at Ukranafta. I appreciate I'm probably in the wrong province to push oil and gas, but you know, I'll do my best. And it's not just the oil and gas; it's all the green renewable energies, it's power generation, it's the full gambit of energy requirements for Ukraine. So we have, you know, a massive reserves base in Ukraine. Reserves are discovered energy resources, such as the gas and the oil. They come typically in three forms: those in the ground that are not developed, those that are developed but require additional capital for further development, or brownfield ones that are a little bit, shall we say, old, but need new technologies to extract and recover additional volumes of crude. So we have the full range there of opportunities available. And this is an opportunity that requires joint venture, new technology, and it spans the oil field services, it spans the drilling, it spans the pipelines, the facilities, modernization of refineries. We have everything. We need a lot of help. But the resource base to underpin those investments is there. So I think with your support, we can certainly build a much stronger and more resilient Ukraine. Thank you.
Great. Will there be hot dogs at the service station?
There'll be hot dogs and coffee.
Thank you. Okay. For Mr. Zdesenko, you mentioned the support your company provides to soldiers who are serving, but what role does Biosphere play in supporting local communities in the 6 cities where you produce and now in the 2 additional countries where you produce? How do you build that social support and license?
Thank you for the question. I would like to say about the phenomena which we see now in Ukraine, about the ability to unite businessmen for the special circle. For example, in our city during the war and before, we established several business associations. For example, I'm the co-founder of a business association Inspira, which unite the most famous and responsible and modern businessmen in our region. Also, we established during the war LEAD business association with the 100 members of progressive young businessmen, and despite of the war, we have like 15 events when we share the ideas, invite special speakers, and we have a lot of programs to support social level and of course our military forces. And lots of unique projects we do with this association, but most important, we support and develop mindset, approach, to see the good example, how to improve through our mindset, our companies. It's really, and I know that the same my friends organize in Western Ukraine, in Lviv, and the CEO Club, this is the community, now do a lot, and really not about the business. This is more about the support of the country, support each other, transformation, evolution, and it's the great approach how to build responsible leadership in our country. If we speak about what we do in our factories, for example, we celebrate 10 years of our recycling plant in Litichev, when we washed 1,000 tons waste and transformed this to the granula and made the garbage bags the 90% of Ukrainian waste. We built a new area, new garden for the skate, for the young generation with the beautiful graffiti, and it was very bad condition, how to say, appendix in the stadium. And now is the modern skating park when the teenagers and kids spend time, and it's such project. And also we start to produce a special wet towel for our military guys. It's the, I would say, Taktik Hajin, and 50,000 pieces of these special towels with the special treatment we spread and deliver to our soldiers. Many projects which we really help and support, and also for the environment. But frankly speaking, 2,000 people, 2,000 families with able to rely to our company and to have a work. This, despite of everything, it's our responsibility.
Okay, thank you. I'll have a question for Rostoslavok, and then, but heads up, a final kind of 1-minute question for each of you at the end, which is, if you were invited to your business school alma mater to present a business case in 60 seconds, how would you describe learnings from your experience for international business students? Just one example from each. But first, Rostislav, about your experience of manufacturing in both Ukraine and in Lithuania. What have you learned about sort of managing these different locations, and what can Ukrainian producers or people moving into Ukraine learn from that?
Well, so I have only 1 minute also?
No, you got...
Thanks, God.
No.
I have 8 minutes and 7 seconds.
You got two.
Yeah, because I can speak long time about this. So first of all, we built our factory in Lithuania not because we were afraid about the war or something else, because we are working under veterinary law, under veterinary control, and this is a big risk if there will be some diseases in Ukraine. We cannot sell nothing to European Union or abroad. That's why we decided to build another factory. I would say no matter what, let's say like this. Now about some stories. What's easier, what's harder? Definitely cost of goods are more expensive in Europe. We were ready with this. But for example, speaking to the government, it's much more easier. Also, we got a lot of help from the government of Lithuania, not of European Union, because we are too big for grants of European Union. But we decide, but we get, for example, in this project, which we are investing now, 60 million euros project, we are in 10 biggest investment projects in Lithuania. So we got the grant from Lithuanian government. They are giving us back more than 60% of our investment, from which 20% is a cash back. Everything else is with the taxes, related to the taxes and everything else. Yes, but from our from our side, we told what we will be doing there. We will be hiring more than 200 people. The salary of these people will be higher than the middle salary in that region of Kaunas. So there is a good partnership. There is a good partnership. There is a good friendship, I would say, like this. From another point of view, you are not making you. That's my personal opinion. If we speak about factories, if we speak about sales in other countries, not like in Ukraine, you need to think differently, because a lot of companies, for example, when war started, they decided, okay, we need to go abroad, we need to sell abroad. Where are we going? Let's go to Poland, the biggest market in CEE. Very easy, super nice. Let's go. We are hitting our head already for 10 years in Poland. And we decided this would be a third strategy already in Poland. And we decided that this would be a last strategy if we will not going to win till the end of the year. Thanks a lot to our Polish friends, because they don't like brands. They like price. And we as a brand producers, we are not playing this game. So my advice would be to check other countries which are much more interesting. For example, Romania is super interesting. People are brand addicted there. There is no such big competition, and it's much more easy. It's much more interesting there, I would say, like this. I would look even to Albania. I would look to Bulgaria. These are very nice countries which will be growing, and the FMCG business will be growing there. So we are focusing there. And definitely ESG and sustainability. Because we know already, for example, from next year, our Lithuanian company, Lithuanian factory, we need to make a sustainability report. We need to have somebody who will be responsible for this. And this is good because we are already having our ESG strategy. So we are ready to do it. So you need to be prepared there. And the last one, there will be no very fast EBITDA in European countries, for example. This is much more longer process than you can do in Ukraine. But you can plan everything 10 years in advance. So not huge like EBITDA or profits, but it's sustainable. This is a sustainable work.
Got it. Okay, now we go. Traskitsme, your 60-second business case to teach the world based on Ukraine.
Каже, Київ за 3 дні.
You know, we are in global business. It's business case. What I learned being in business, and what is my success formula for the business? My success formula is leadership plus innovations. What we do in SoftServe, we constantly developing leaders. We have couple layers of leadership school, and we thankful for our leaders where we are today. And we non-stop doing innovations, many changes. And this formula, leadership plus innovation, bring us success. I share this formula with everybody. Please use it.
Okay, thank you. Andriy Zasenko.
Okay, 60 seconds. Take a chance and be brave. We never produce food, but during the war, I knew that 45% of Ukrainian market of the tea belongs to Russian companies. And unfortunately, 10% was destroyed when the war starts. And we made a decision to go to the tea market without any experience, but to understand that the market not empty, but only 2 strong players, one really strong, which developed the brand, the second just to produce the private label. And we started the production, invest 5 million, despite of the war, to buy the best Italian equipment. And now we're almost everywhere in Ukrainian market with the strong brand, with 2 brands and distribution. That's why the the be able to see the perspective, to brave, estimate the risk, but do it. And now we have a unique results, and I'm happy with Flame. We have a new team, new business unit, and I'm sure that it will be very successful.
All right, Duncan.
Well, if I had to go back to business school, I think I would ask my professor to have spent a lot more time on a very simplistic formula. And I'm going to sound like an HR manager preaching now, but it's a very simple formula. It's organization plus alignment plus culture equals performance. And to expand that a little bit further, where that application has borne to be very, very true, and it's perhaps because of the cultural and skill mix in Ukraine, is regarding Ukranafta is having an organization with the right people with the right skills. Then we have the alignment. We know where we need to go. We've got a good idea of how we need to get there. We're being fairly agile in terms of our funding and project implementation, but we've got, I think, very good alignment. The next thing is the culture, and this is one thing in Ukraine which I think is extremely important and very much underestimated. There is a dedication to high performance, to transparency within the right teams, and their acceptance of the governance, their acceptance of new business practices. And that has, I think, complemented the creativity, the innovation, and the way that they conduct themselves in business. So it's been a very powerful formula, melding together the organization, the alignment, and the culture, and now it's manifesting itself in some fantastic performance.
Great, thank you very much. And we're now into injury time, so Rostislav.
Thanks. I never been to business school, but I'll try. But I'll try to answer. So, team one more time. My team is super fast with the entrepreneurship spirit or DNA, which believes in the big goals. And also, I would say I need to tell about the values of the company. These are few of them are fun, curiosity, respect, love to animals, definitely, and we are ready. Love to pets. I'm sorry, and we are ready to be very fast and to do, from one point of view, crazy goals. When we decided in 2012 to be leaders in Ukraine, with such a big competitors like Masterfoods and Nestle, everybody were thinking and telling us that we are a bit crazy. But we did it in 2021 or 22. So you need to put a very good goal. You need to have a team which will help you. You need to have values which everybody believes in. And one very small case. If we're speaking about cases which we are copy-pasting now in Europe, we couldn't enter the supermarket chains because the shelf was bought by our competitors. So we found some kind of some sort of a win-win situation, win-win with the partners, with the supermarkets. We proposed them that we will produce the private label for them. But they will let us in with our own brands. Now we are dealing with all the supermarkets in Ukraine. We are covering more than 50% of the shelf space. And we are doing the same in Europe, for example, with Kaufland, in 5 countries in Europe, and with Billa now. And this would be a very fast win.
Excellent. Okay, I think we should just a final big hand for Ukrainians and Canadians who are driving business.